Boom, we are pre-recorded today, ladies and gentlemen, and we are coming at you from a beautiful, bountiful, and the abundant world of Bali, Indonesia. And even though Bitcoin is in the red, I am surrounded by green. And I want to just remind everyone to take the moments out for themselves to experience what is most valuable, and that is where you are right now. Be excited and grateful for what you have instead of bitter for what you do not. So with this in mind, we saw Bitcoin break down into the $8,000 region the last 24 hours, much as we suspected that it would. And for the private bear family, at least I hope and I know y'all saved yourselves a lot of money right there. My stop loss is triggered at around $9,440 last night. So I pulled off a smooth 10% gain in the last 24 hours alone, at least in savings. What a lot of people should understand, at least I hope they do, is that savings is as good as makings. So it's important to keep that in mind. But let's just dive right into the charts and take a look at what's going on in the markets right now. Oh, here we go. I just kind of flopped around on my screen there for a second, excuse me. So now we actually have Bitcoin open on the 5-minute. Again, I like to watch the small minutia of movements. It gives me a little bit clearer understanding, especially here when we look at the 15-minute, we can see this bearish flag. Now, we are actually stuck up against the 21 moving average on the 15-minute here, and we've been bouncing along this bottom for quite some time. Now, I do suspect because of the general sentiments of this market, we will probably hit around 9,100, maybe even 9,600 to test the bottom, the top of the bottom of the triangle that we had been following for quite some time. I stand by my assertion and will not change it unless something is that shows up. So for those of you, again, that have been following and paying attention to what we've been saying, at least I hope you have been, we hit the 200 simple moving average here on the daily, much as we said we would, and we suspect it will actually come a little bit lower. Again, our range here is actually around $7,700 for this downward channel that we have been following for quite some time as well. So I suspect we will bounce around $7,700 and again try to come back up around $9,200. So for me, I stop loss triggered right last night as I was going to sleep here in Bali, and I'm sure as most of you were waking up. The reason this is important, again, is because saving money is as good as making it. And in my trading portfolio, that's what I'm doing. I consider my investment, or my HODL position, as some of you might call it, drastically different. I don't care how much the US dollar value of that is worth. I consistently keep adding to it, but in terms of my trading portfolio, even when Bitcoin moves, I do use a stop loss because it's my trading portion, and even a small percentage of that lost is actually a big percent, right? If you're only playing with $10,000 per se, if you lose 10%, that's a big chunk of that whole playing portion. So I was very happy to see that stop loss trigger last night, right around the fractals that we had been following for the previous months. So this is exciting for a few reasons. Again, because, well, first off, I like being right. I don't mind being wrong, that's for sure. I don't mind it. I actually like being wrong, or at least finding out that I was wrong, and then changing my position. And that's what we've done every time that we possibly can. But this one we have been following for months. The first time and the second time we hit up to 13,000, we said we're going to 7,700, 8,200, and we stood that by position strong and fortified. I didn't have to make videos every day changing my mind about what it is I was going to tell you. So the private bear family members extremely excited about that. The private newsletters, again, we're raising our membership prices to over $100, or to about $100. So if you want, well, I don't even if you want, you should probably sign up, because that alone last night could have saved you thousands and thousands of dollars. And for the $30 a month entry fee, it's just ridiculous not to. Again, I think putting the investment on the table for joining these types of memberships is important, because it makes you realize you should be paying attention. Even though none of this is investment advice, what we want to do is arm you with the tools to make your own critical decisions. I don't tell you what or when or how to do things, but I teach you how it is that you can notice what and when and how things are going to happen. Now, the future does not always play out how we might imagine it to, but more often than not, as I said yesterday, our gut is right, and just as I had said that, boom, we broke down. I will take a quick look at Raven, but again, just to be clear, and I give all this away for free, but it's much more actionable if you pay for it, because you are actually invested in it. I've noticed that a lot. Again, 6,600 to 8,200. again, has been this range between the 200 and 314 day simple moving averages, and we've kept our eye on that for quite some time. I do also want to remark on the fact that we could come down significantly lower, somewhere into the $3,000 range, especially if we look at the weekly. We could come all the way down to around $4,500, although I believe that is less likely. It is one of the reasons why I use a stop loss, because I am no longer considering my position until I see a particular bounce, and even more importantly, I think around the $7,100 area at the extension of the bear claw here is extremely important. So for those of you that would wish, you can go to tradingview.com. You can follow all of our content there. Most importantly, our indicators. We have the eagle's nest up above. We have the bear claw that we follow here, which is just a rendition of the super guppy that we've created on our own here. So you can download those for free. Please do so. They're very helpful. And again, I suspect that if we break below the $7,100 area, we are going to come crashing down to $4,000 and maybe even justify the Jenks family's assertions in their original movements somewhere into the $1,500 range, which is still a very large possibility. Although, again, some of that is highly dependent upon the way we see the markets, but oddly enough, as you can see, we've started to hit a double and a triple top on the S&P 500, and we have not been able to break out of that range. We could see another sharp drop on the S&P 500 down to around 250, 2,500 points, depending on what you're looking at. This is currently the SPY. Now, I'm going to look at Flow and Raven because they are extremely important in our portfolio, at least in terms of the baby Bitcoin play. Again, you can learn more about that by signing up for our private newsletter. I give everything away for free, but only if you can read between the lines. And again, the best way to do that is to actually just read the lines that I write instead. Anyway, so last night we saw a massive spike in Flow, almost 40% in around 7 hours. I did not take advantage of that. Again, I was looking for this bounce down to around 550 or potentially 511, which will be the test of the previous wedge that we have been following on the daily here as well. We have seen Flow give phenomenal returns, and in early 2019, when we first started talking about this, we saw a 400% return in Flow, and Raven the previous times had seen multiple hundreds of percents in return. I'm going to leave it at that, short, sweet, and succinct, to the point for the rest of the Bear family. Again, I suggest you sign up for the Bear Family newsletter. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee, so if you sign up, if you don't like what we produce, we'll give you the refund. I don't care. If you really don't understand how much value is there, I want to give you your money back anyways. It's your loss at that point, not mine. Anyways, so if you want to, go to arcanebear.com. You can sign up for the Arcane Bear Club. It is only $30 a month right now, which is a ridiculous price. We are going to increase that threefold because we have had the request of our other Bear family members say, look, we understand the value that's here. Let's raise the price and keep out the people that don't understand the value, and then also encourage those that do want to invest in bettering their understanding and their future growth of their portfolio to the max. The easiest way to do that is just to start to rise the prices bit by bit, and in the new year we will be going to $99 a month. So go to arcanebear.com, sign up for the free newsletter if that's what you wish to do, and sign up for the paid newsletter if you are a brave bear. This is Tio. I am signing off for the rest of the day. You can find us on Telegram, Facebook, all those fun places, whatever it might be. Jump in, share the ride, and I hope you're having a beautiful time. And then even though Bitcoin might be in the red, that you are enduring and enjoying yourself in the green, and we will see you guys on the